but it's not XSplit. Okay. So, we had a bunch of announcements for Imperial City today, and a bunch of gameplay shown. Where should we start?
I think maybe we should just start with the gameplay changes. I really just have one thing to say about that. We do know there's a new motif coming out, the glass one, and that's going to be available to everyone. It's not going to be in Imperial City. Another thing, okay, this is just like a little bitter remark about this, is that in the gameplay changes that you do not need the downloadable content to, you know, actually get to have, they mention new Undaunted pledges.
Mm-hmm.
But according to ESO Live, the new Undaunted pledges are the dungeons that are in the DLC that you cannot access unless you have the DLC.
So does that mean
those two new dungeons are in the rotation, and for 2 dungeons out of 1 full rotation, if you do not have the DLC, you won't be able to do an Undaunted pledge that day?
Well, I'm wondering about that, too, because either A, it means that you're going to have to, like you said, get the DLC to be able to complete the pledges, or maybe it just simply doesn't show up in the rotation unless you have the DLC.
But then different people are going to have different pledges. It's like, hey, want to run the pledge today? Oh, do you have the DLC pledge or no?
Yep, that is an issue. I'm not disagreeing with that.
It just seems really weird that they're going to involve it in something that is part of the base game.
Yes.
I understand the reasoning, because it's, you know, they're adding dungeons. It's just, I felt that shouldn't have been mentioned under the gameplay changes. It should have been under DLC content.
Yeah, that's something too as well. I'm wondering if they're going to be... Yeah, now, you've played console, right?
Yes, I sure have.
Okay, you've played Vet City of Ash?
Hell no.
Okay. Right now on PC, I've got to test to see if this is still true, but like if a lower level vet level is leader of the party and goes into Vet City of Ash will remain as VR14. I've heard from other people that on the console version, that's not the case. It will actually downscale to whatever the party leader is. And I was wondering if that's going to be like one of the next changes.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that, but I have the ability to test it out. Although I'm sure your source was quite valid.
Yeah, people complaining on Reddit, so yeah.
Well, and that explains why I saw on the ESO forums people like at VR1 be like, "Hey, who wants to do Vet City of Ash?" And I was thinking to myself, "I'm trying to do that dungeon."
Yep. Anytime you want to run it too, we'll definitely run it with you. But yeah, they don't include it in the pledges right now, because if they did, it would be V14, and then that would like exclude all your VR1s and all that stuff. So that's going to be interesting to see that as well. I'm interested to see what's going to go on with that. But also the Imperial City ones, they sound like they're going to downscale too. So how many people?
Version and a veteran version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess that doesn't really answer the downscaling thing, but I think that would be the case, because how are you gonna, no offense, but how are you gonna sell this to a straight up PvE player if they can't even do the dungeons yet?
Well, trust me, they find ways. But one thing I consider on this is like, what are they gonna do with some of the like, what's it going to be upscale? That's the other question I have. Like, is it going to go up to VR? Is it going to go up to VR16, or are they going to put it up to VR14 or VR12?
They did say that all the dungeons and pledges are being scaled to VR16.
Ah. Okay, so that would tell me that, like, honestly, if you're going to be getting end level gear, right? There is absolutely no reason that you should be running dungeons at this point, unless it's a VR1. There's none, because you're just going to go replace it with VR16.
I don't follow. Oh, so you mean just for your pickup loot right now?
Yeah, get your gold keys, hold on to the gold keys. Do not turn your gold keys into your VR16. Don't bother worrying about like getting your helmet, because your helmet's going to be obsolete anyways. You're going to get a VR, you know, everyone can get like a VR12 at most right now.
I know, but obsolete just, you know, is know, maybe you can get a helmet now. At least then you have a helmet at all until you get a VR16 version.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, as much as I hate to, I agree about the gold keys, and I've been saving mine.
Yes. Also means, though, if you have any gear loot that you want to have, like, I was working on Sunderflame and Spellweave, I'm probably going to stop collecting that now and just wait.
Well, and it's not even a matter of, I don't know, yeah, the loot, yeah, I guess the loot set should turn into VR16, but there's also going to be new set drops in the 2 dungeons that are bind on pickup.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was going...
You might not even want those sets anymore.
Well, at the same time, they also mentioned the other notes there that, at the very bottom, they're going to be making changes to a lot of itemization, right?
Yes.
So that means like a previous set that kind of sucked a little bit is going to be maybe a lot more or something like that, right? Also means that you could be looking at a set that like martial knowledge, air sets, skirmisher, which are like really meta for a lot of PvP and stuff, is going to become less desirable. So like,
yes.
So like my recommendation, I put all this stuff on the forums there, is like simply get what you can now, save a set because you never know what's going to happen with it tomorrow, and then after you see it up there or something like that, and you see it on PTS, then you can decide if you still want to keep it or not. Oh, did we lag out? I think we might have. Yeah, we did. We lagged out for a second there. You still hear me on that?
Yeah, you're just cutting out.
Yeah, I had a bit of lag there for a minute. Sorry.
No problem.
But yeah, I was saying, like, you know, get your sets, like, you know, whatever, like, even a, like, let's say it's like, Curse of the Fire, right? A fire set's really not to use that much. You know, get it, hold on to a full set of it, see if anything happens with it when it comes out. Because they could rebalance the entire thing.
Oh, for sure they could. I'm just interested to know how many sets are going to be bought with these Telvar stones, and how many sets are going to be available in the dungeons.
Well, that'd be interesting, but it's like from what we saw today on the ESO Live, I'm a little concerned with some of the Telvar stuff. Like, I could see myself just being like, okay, I got 100 Telvar stones, and I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a lump of charcoal or whatever, and not even bother like holding it into the bank until I see the item sets, really.
Yeah, and that's true. See, and that's the thing. How important? Like right now, there's a lot of just straight up PvEers that do not PvP at all, like at all. Right? There's lots of people that do both. But for the people that do not do it at all, I think what they're really worried about, they wouldn't give a, they wouldn't care about Telvar stones if they don't want any of the expensive items you buy with it. Because I'm pretty sure I can go ahead and do my dailies and get my fancy little boxes that nobody can touch and buy myself some crafting materials. So that's not such an issue. But depending on the pricing of these sets and how wanted they are, like if they're better for me than the dungeon sets, suddenly the Telvar stones become a lot more important to me, and I can't do it without PvPing. And I'm sure I can do the quest lines with the non-movable boxes, but it's nothing I can farm, and I technically still can't do it without PvP. I'm gonna keep getting killed while I'm handing in my quest, just like I do now in Cyrodiil.
Yeah. But I think the thing they're trying to go for is, if you're with a group or something like that, right? You kill that person, they kill you or something like that. You're probably not going to have a whole lot of Telvar stones for them, so that eventually they're hopefully not going to make you a target. But if you were the group there, you're still going to get like a share of the Telvar stones if it's 100%. So if your group beats them,
I do enough damage, and as a healer, how much damage am I doing?
well, that is a question too. But I viewed that as like if you're with a group, right, and you're doing damage to another player, like the PvP stuff, you probably should get a share of the loot. At least that's what I took it as. I'm not 100% sure on how it would work, but I mean, healers have to be getting something for it. They have like, well, let's look back at beta, right? Back in beta, it was very like competitive. PvE. if you, you know, they made it so you had to, like, you know, fight each other to get, like, loot off things. If you want to get experience on things, you had to fight each other for the chests and all that stuff. And they changed a lot of that in the dungeons. And some of the overworld stuff they changed as well. So I think they should at least make it so the group healer should get something for Telvar stones if you're healing, like, other people there. But at the same time, it's kind of gonna suck for people too, because I can just see them, like, making it so it's like, okay, I want to run this. I need to grind up some things here, so I'm going to solo these guys here. And oh, you're here to help me. Now, since I don't want to, since I'm farming with stones here, I don't want to share it with you. So I'm going to be like, get the hell out of here.
That's currently how it is when people are grinding anything. They get so mad when they're like, "You're in my grinding spot."
Not really. I'm grinding right now, but most people won't come up to complain to me about grinding because they know, like, you're only losing a, like, you know, 50, 60 experience or something like that. And most times if you're doing half damage and they're doing half damage, they're getting full experience regardless. And they'll actually just invite you into a group because they know they can get the experience. I mean, it doesn't make sense for them most times now to, like, complain. But with this system, it's definitely going to be competitive. There's no way around that. Like, if I'm in PvP and I'm trying to solo stuff, like, you know, let's say we have Cypher PK in there, right? And he wants to grind up some Telvar stones, and he's, like, just soloing everyone. Let's just say he's just soloing everyone. No one can take him out or something like that. And then somebody else, you know, another person just comes up to try helping him. He's probably going to try avoiding him, right? And you're going to have other people that are going to form cliques because of that. And you're going to have bomb groups that are going to be, like, very tight-knit to grind up Telvar stones. Unfortunately, it's gonna make it a little bit more segmented than actually, like, working in this alliance like it should be.
Well, and that's kind of what I've also seen on the forums, is that people are really afraid it's really just going to make an unhealthy community there, because you're working against each other now. Sure, maybe as a group you can share, but like somebody even brought up, I'm going to group with somebody, try to fight some mob, and if I see some other guy kind of scoping my buddy out, I'm going to let him kill him. I'm going to go stealth off, and then I'm going to kill him so I get both their stones. Like, that's just absolutely terrible, but let's be real. People are people, and they're going to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they'll do it. I mean, Dark Brotherhood's coming. There's a reason a lot of people want that too, right? They want to kill their fellow man. And at this point, I just kind of wonder a little bit, like, as a few things, right? Like, one, like, we keep on asking for small scale instance PvP, right? And I'm still
wondering what this itch is that Imperial Cities. Oh, is it just the fact that you can loot stuff and there's consequences? Is that the itch?
That's kind of it. I mean, part of it is a lot of people had a lot of hopes for it. Like, I remember a few weeks back, you know, because I've been trying to advocate for, like, small-scale PvP, instance PvP, and all that stuff. A little bit more like Battlegrounds and WoW, or SPPP and Guild Wars 2. And for a long time, people were kept on saying, just wait for the Imperial City. The Imperial City has arenas in it. Look, we data mined it. That's what's going to be in it. You know, the arenas are what you're looking for. Well, we saw today. They have nothing for that, and yet it's still, people want it because they're putting a lot of hopes that, you know, it's new PvP content, it's new PvE content. You know, it's.
Well, and that's what I kept seeing. Like, people would mention arenas, and then Brian would be like, "Well, there's a certain itch, you know, Imperial City's gonna scratch," but it wasn't arenas.
Yep, exactly. And I take a look at a lot of things I suggested doing for arenas are being put in with this, but it's being done in a poor fashion, because at least with the suggestion, like, Telvar stones aren't a bad thing. Like, if you can kill somebody, you get the Telvar stones. You kind of going back and forth, but that's typically something done in, like, a round match, you know. Like, let's say you're looking at King of the Hill there, or something like that. You're trying to figure out who gets the most points and all that stuff. And you have objectives to take. And, you know, you got to kill this guy to get the points and all that stuff, and the person with the top points gets the loot and all that stuff. That's typically what you do with, like, an instance type of PvP with team stuff. But you have group objectives there, right? With this, I could just sit in the sewers all day, like, waiting and selecting my targets as a Nightblade, and then being like, oh, look, I want that guy, and then just go up and kill him. Then, you know, you know, stealth away because they're going to be fixing Shadow Cloak. And oh look, I got a teleport back.
See, now I'm not so sold on this teleport. But 2 seconds. Somebody in my chat mentioned small encounters are going to be more common now. Yes and no, but solely because it's new content. Can you imagine how many people are going to be in those sewers? Like,
Havoc. Let's just say it.
Stealthing around because there's going to be so many people there.
Yep. Yeah, you got your Havoc is going to be in there definitely. And I'm also kind of wondering, like, these aren't tied to campaigns, right? Your AP does not count in there. So do they actually? Yeah. So does like the Imperial City in your side count for the Imperial City for like the other side?
Oh, like for alliances? You
Yeah.
mean, or across campaigns?
For campaigns, yeah. Because let's say I enter in through Hatteras.
It's different from.
Is it going to be different than that? Is it going to be different than Thornblades?
Brian posted on the forums that each campaign it's its own Imperial City.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. But then what happens if you're queued up for the dungeon?
The dungeon is not counted in the population cap.
Okay, that makes sense then.
So that's why. But Imperial City is counted in your campaign's population cap. Dungeon. The instant dungeons are not. And as well, delves are all, like the caves and delves in Cyrodiil are all going to be part of the population cap. Because as far as I know, they weren't previously, right? Which is why you had issues getting out sometimes. Yeah, they're now going to be part of the cap, like population cap.
Okay, and okay, so let's say we have a guild like Havoc. Havoc runs through like, you know, campaign after campaign and all that stuff, and they just wipe out everything in place. When they do that, they then take out, like, you know, all the keeps and all that stuff, and everyone's just kind of sitting there like, well, we want to get points, but like Havoc's already come in here and taken it, and we can't get a single kill. Inside of this situation, what is that going to be like, right? I mean, you're going to just go ahead and try killing a bosses so you can get your boxes, and these guys are going to come up and kill you repeatedly.
Alright, and see, there's my concern. I would be fine going and killing mobs, like today's ESO live show, without people trying to constantly kill me. But here's a thought. Once Imperial City opens up for your faction, people are going to flood in there. And because it's part of the population cap, everyone that just went into Imperial City is no longer guarding your keeps. So I'm thinking Imperial City is going to flip, like, non-stop.
Yep. But you're still going to be able to get in there anyways, right? What is it really locking off anyways? Like the public dungeon? Or is it something else?
No, the public dungeon is pretty Imperial City. If you don't have... You can't get in, like you cannot use the door in if your alliance does not own it. Your alliance needs to be in control of it. But they are going to be testing out different methods on that. One method, which is you don't need to be in control of it, and they're just going to leave it wide open and see what happens. So then it's essentially nobody owns it, you just PvP in there. Or they're looking at, like, you must own your 6 home keeps, or the Emperor keeps, or whatever.
Okay. Because like you have to have people inside the Imperial City to fight. If the point of this is to be PvE and PvP content, you have to have a way for them to get in. And they mentioned that this districts could have PvP in it, and they mentioned that the Undercroft could have PvP in it. So unless if they've locked it down every time that they're taking all 6 keeps or something like that, then it's just like basic, and no one can get in. And then it's like, okay, so how are we getting PvP in here now?
No, because listen, let's say my alliance takes over and we all flood in there. Like I mentioned, there's now less people guarding our keeps because we are part of the population cap, right?
Yep.
So you guys take over a bunch of keeps, boom, you flip, maybe you just have to flip 1 keep, for all I know, to get access. So now we're all inside there. We don't instantly get ported out. We get left in there. And then you guys come flooding in. That's where it happens.
So only on the flip. It's kind of... Hmm.
But I'm pretty sure, this part I'm not so sure about, but I'm positive that they said once I'm inside, if I get killed, I end up back at a safe spot. So I can stay in there as long as I got in when the door was open.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
I don't get, like, ported out to Cyrodiil, and if I die, I'm out. I get to stay in there, even though you guys own it, as long as I got in and I haven't left yet.
Alright. Because, like I said, what I can see is, like, somebody, like, again, Havoc, will take on keeps and, like, do, you know, take on, like, full groups at, like, 24-man and just lock down the entire thing from anyone from getting it.
But how can they do that? Because...
I know, even with less numbers, they still outclass most of the people that they're dealing with, and part of it is, like, they, you know, you heard Brian Wheeler a while ago talking about, you know, people that are doing things that are lagging out the servers and all that stuff, and there's been talk on different guilds and all that stuff. I'm not saying it's Havoc, but, you know, certain guilds will come around, you see entire servers, like, crash, and, like, you know, small man groups will take on these large Zergs without much trouble because the server's, like, lagging so hard.
Well, hopefully with some of these checks that they're getting rid of or whatever, it'll help a little bit. Like, nobody thinks it's going to be the complete fix, but maybe it'll help a little bit.
Yeah, well, what I'm expecting them to do as well is they may come back in and just say, you know, if somebody's doing something that's, like, they can, you know, they've already said that they're trying to figure out some of the people that are doing stuff and then, like, coming back on it. So I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be the first part of it, you know? You know, if somebody is possibly exploiting or something like that, they're just going to come back and say, okay, we're going to put an end to this right now, and then just, like, put the ban hammer down.
Well, and something you said about a guild taking over a campaign, that's, a lot of people have brought that up as well. Is this going to bring back buff servers, except they're, you know, Imperial City servers, because we won't get buffs?
Yep, pretty much. That would be my guess.
But you're pretty much now a lot more stuck in a campaign than you were previously.
Yes.
Because you can't do the whole travel the player and stuff.
You still have a guest, and remember, we only have 4 campaigns with a vet, with a non-vet. So all you have to do is have, like, 2 high-level alts, and it's going to be pretty easy to take over a campaign, I think. You just have to get on an alt there, and, like, you can travel to any of the other 2 campaigns if you wanted to.
As long as you haven't guested and play on all 3 factions.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like me, I'm stuck. I am stuck. I cannot move campaigns because there's nowhere for me to move a campaign to go to.
You can't uncampaign one, right?
No, you cannot. They're going to do that with the new patch. They're going to uncampaign everybody so they can pick a new campaign to be in. But, and they're looking into adding an option because, yeah, right now, I picked my campaigns, I guested somewhere. I officially cannot move campaigns anymore. Like,
yep.
I can't, because I can't swap them around.
I also wonder how much it's gonna. I mean, I understand part of the, like, you know, players campaign, so you can keep a guild together, but at the same time, like, it's led to a bit of an issue because some people will just zerg on it, and, like, the campaigns then had no reason to it, you know.
Well, and see, now this kind of detriments my guild in a way that we're a casual social guild that mostly does just PvE. So we used to have, like, Skyshard run nights and all that kind of stuff. We pretty much won't be able to do that anymore because we recognize that we're not a PvP guild, so our members are members in other PvP guilds. So we can't make them choose our campaign.
Yep.
We're not that person. So now you do this run when normally you'd have 10 people show up. Well, now only 2 can because they're the only 2 that have that guested or home.
Yeah, well, at least you still have the guested. That's like the only saving grace of it, really.
Unless you're multi-faction.
Yep, that's true too.
And we're a multi-faction guild.
Yeah, geez.
But I understand and I realize that the benefits on the PvP side of things outweighs the fact that it kind of crushes that aspect. Like, and
Oh, you cut out there.
I was saying I respect that. I'm not think the need for it for PvP is a higher need than me complaining about that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I heard some of the people complaining about different things about this as well. I mean, part of it is going to be a culture shift on some of this too. Hopefully, it's also going to change some of the meta. Like the PvP, like right now as it is, it's just going way too quick on some of it. And I really do feel bad though that like I really think the Nightblades are probably still going to be reigning supreme on this, even with the nerfs. But hopefully, like the 2-shot kills are not going to be there. We'll see. By the way, you saw the run through they had, right?
Pardon me?
You saw the run through they had, right? The QA testers.
Yes. The run through where nobody was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little bitter about that part.
Yeah. Well, the thing that got to me was, and maybe anyone else in the chat there can also correct me if I'm wrong in this. I didn't see them animation cancel once.
Who the hell would follow this shit?
I did not.
I also saw a lot of Jesus beam.
I saw.
Wait,
yeah.
No, that was the video.
That was the video. Yeah, I did not see a single QA tester animation cancel or animation weave.
And they brought up the fact that they're doing something about it.
Yep, that'd be interesting. I would be interested if it is like a little bit better on the. It is a freaking meta right now. You have to animation cancel to be able to do anything. Anyone who says you don't have to, well, why is the top DPS people telling you to animation cancel? And now why are they getting 20k when you're only getting like, 5k on your build?
Yeah, true. Oh, something I don't know if it was noticed, but the new motif is going to be dropped in pages. And I didn't really learn if it's going to be dropped in the dungeons or once again only PvP area. Because there's a glass motif that's available to everybody that I don't recall how they said it would be dropped. But the word that I can't say...
Xenolive?
Pardon?
Xenolive? Let's just call it Xena. The Xena style.
Yeah, well, it's like Zvikin or... I don't know that word. I can't...
Yeah, let's just call it Xena style. That's the easiest way.
It's going to drop in pages from mobs, but they didn't specify if I can run a dungeon and get pages or not. Or if I have to go, get killed over and over to get a page. But at least they can't steal my page.
Yeah. My guess, to be honest, on that would probably be available anywhere in the DLC.
Pardon me?
Because my guess is that, at least my prediction on that, would be available to anywhere on the DLC.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. And even if not, we can still like run people through and do like mob type of runs too. Let's go kill this guy here in the public dungeon here or the district, and then get these pages for you.
Well, a bunch of other PvPers like Cypher are looking at me like a little puddle of AP as I performed one day. Which I pretty much am.
Well, Cypher plays for our side too,
Because I got killed too much.
Well, Cypher plays for AD too,
Thank goodness. That's the only character I would go into PvP with.
Yeah, he has ults, but he plays mostly AD right now.
But nonetheless, I'm using his PvPer. I'm a little puddle of AP just waiting to be soaked up. And then they're gonna kill me and find out that I'm too cheap to have any stones on me and not get anything.
That's actually, that'd be funny to do. Like, let's say you wanted to like just taunt them. Like, say you had a ton of like stones, but you don't want to get hit. What I would do is like I'd strip off all my armor and then just dance around. Like, psych him out to make him think I don't have anything and I'm just like crazy because I wouldn't be doing this if I did.
Yeah, but people will kill you anyways just because it'll be so easy. They'll be like,
yeah,
you're messing with me. So, but yeah, throughout that whole ESO live, I had like an absolute roller coaster of emotions. Like, you know, like I don't PvP, so I had all the worries that everyone had brought up, except I just hadn't voiced them yet because I was like, no, they're gonna make this right. They're gonna make this right.
Yes.
And you know, I kind of came to terms with it in this way. There is a way that, sure, I still have to go in this zone and get the boxes that cannot be looted from me. So there is a way to earn the stones safely, but I imagine it will be very, very little. And how much this idea really depends on how much those boxes really give you. In comparison to what anything costs, of course.
Yep. What I could...
Because if I put in the risk and I go fight other people, you can earn them faster, which makes sense, risk reward, but at least I have a safe way of doing it.
What I would recommend, actually, in this case, is they should probably make it so it, let's say we make it instead, they said it's 100%, but they're willing to change that around, right? If they see a better way to do it, right? What? Yeah.
So anyways, yes, they're willing to change that because I'm pretty sure they already saw all of the I'm frustrated posts on the forum. And I really think that I would be okay if it wasn't, like, if it was 80%, at least then I could walk away with, if I had 100 stones, I could walk away with 20. I would feel better and be more enticed to try it than I am knowing that if I get killed on my way back to safety by one dude right before I hit the safe spot, my entire night was a complete waste. That hurts me.
Yeah, what my recommendation on this would be, let's take into account the multiplier, right? Which is supposed to be giving you more stones and all that stuff. What if the percentage amount is based on the multiplier? So let's say you take 20 times the multiplier is what you lose. So let's say you've only built up a 1x multiplier. You lose 20% of your stones if you get killed by an enemy player. If you've managed to actually get yourself up there and like started getting like a ton of loot and all that stuff, you're now facing like an 80% loss if you don't get back to town and like sell it. But at the same time, you're getting a higher chance to get better reward for killing people for it too.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. So that, yeah, I would like that. And yes.
Yeah, that seems to me like that'd be a better way to handle it, because you're still giving the risk and reward for it. You know, people can still go ahead and get stuff if they want to or not. And if you get like a ton of loot there, but you manage to mess up at the last second there and like get yourself killed and all that stuff, there's no way for you to recover it. Then you can still go back and like be like, I can get still stuff. And then also like if somebody comes up and gets a revenge kill on you, well, you still have the benefit of like at least killing them once and getting some of their loot.
Yeah, I think my issue is that it's all or nothing.
Yes.
If I go PvP for 8 hours, one jackass while I'm on my way out kills me, that 8 hours is gone.
Or even more frustrating, it's somebody.
I'm not going back.
Even more frustrating, it's somebody that did an exploit on you, or it's somebody that got you when you were lagging out. In which case,
but on ESO Live, they're like, you know, if you're running through the sewers with a couple people and they all disconnect, I'm like, seriously? That's what you said?
Yep.
Oh, then you could stealth through.
Okay, so if I see like a huge group like Havoc coming through, and I don't know if I can get my stone off in time, I can just log out. Then just wait for somebody to tell me they're gone. So it'd be easier for me to log out when I have when I'm in stealth, right? Or Alt F4. What's gonna happen?
Yes, I'm sure I have no soldiers. Where do I resurrect? Do I resurrect in a safe zone?
And actually, wouldn't it be easier for me to go, if I really wanted to make sure I keep some of my stuff, wouldn't it be easier for me to like go into get killed by an enemy? I still lose some of my.
Monster, yes, but not a PvP player, or else then you lose all your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So like you see a bunch of people coming in there, you know you can't take them or something like that. Before they can hit you or tag you, they just run off to a mob and get killed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm gonna run off and let a mob kill me. Or, what does slash stuck do?
Yes, yes.
And it's terrible that I'm thinking of these things, but...
No, they're valid.
At such a disadvantage, I would be thinking of these things. Because I'm at a severe disadvantage. I realize I'm not a overly skilled player. There's a reason I'm not PvPing and being awesome at it.
Yeah, you're a little bit more casual. You're more casual than you are pro. That's fine. Don't take that as insulting, though.
The definition of a casual player. So I feel at an extreme disadvantage, so then people are going... There's even a thread. Let's think of all the exploits we can.
Yes.
There's literally a thread on that.
Yeah, it's one of those things I've always said, like, if I wanted to stop it, if I really wanted to stop something exploiting, I simply need to learn it and make a how-to video, and I'm pretty sure Zoss would get rid of it in, like, 2 weeks. They would get on top of it as soon as there was a tutorial out, but since there's not as much widespread, they don't, so.
But, like, during that duping bug, there was tutorials out how to do it.
Yeah, and they got rid of it.
Well, yeah, but...
They got rid of it in 2 weeks, that's what I'm saying.
2 weeks is a long time.
Yes, but they can still backtrack and get anyone who they find out you're doing it, too.
That's
yeah, but... and it just, I don't know. It annoys me the fact that, like, well, they hopefully will be fixing this part of this here. But my 2 things on this is, one, they need to change it so again, they've got to really kill some of the min-maxing builds. I mean I don't disparage you min-maxers, but I mean seriously, if it takes you like 5 seconds to kill a boss or something like that, and it takes an average person like 5 minutes with coordination to do it, then there's an issue. And it's going to be like just open farm for those guys to just come up and do it. And they're also not going to have any weakness inside PvP.
I'm just going to say something that really, it's not coming from my brain, but I can imagine this being said. Who cares if you're min-maxed if you have 1,000 CP?
Yeah, that's that is almost the definition of it too.
Actually, I don't think anyone has it yet. But I think that's a huge thing. I'm also, not only am I not good at PvP and I'm not a highly skilled player, that also resulted in me having much less champion points than the average.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do not disagree with that.
Disadvantage? You're like absolutely at a disadvantage.
Yes. I feel bad for like a lot of people that they feel they have to get those champion points up there to be anywhere adequate and all that stuff. And really, the champion points, I got in a debate on the forums with somebody else there, getting in the whole veteran rank removal topic there, which we could go an entire rabbit hole on that. But the champion points are something else that needs to be. Every time you do a champion point, you're getting higher and a higher progression to it. You get more powerful, and eventually you're going to be more powerful than the average person. So they've simply got to come back and just say, okay, what's the cap on it? And it's not saying soft caps or anything like that, but they need to figure out how can we make it so it's more slottable, so people just don't keep on coming in here and using it, or just don't keep on growing past a point that they can control and make it so that somebody in PvP here can beat a person in PvP here with the vastly different CP points.
Just a second here. I had somebody ask, what will be done if one alliance takes the map? Well, currently, with most of their recommendations, that means that alliance will have access to Imperial City and nobody else will. But any enemy players that were in there when it flipped will still be allowed to stay there. So then it turns into more of a PvE zone where I could go, for the most part, safely go kill mobs. That's essentially what would happen.
Though I could just see, again, I could just immediately see like a lot of Nightblights hanging out there and like sitting in their waiting for you to get yourself low enough on health to go up and kill you.
Yeah, I already considered starting on my low-level Nightblade here that I started, and doing the whole non-vet thing in PvP when Imperial City hits.
Yes, I would. I put on the forums already. I think it was a second post on that when they announced it. Either if you're not rolling a Nightblade, start looking at getting a Seeker build. And a Seeker build is just basically any type of build that has like Mage's Light on it and something like with detection pots there, so you can find those stealthers.
Yeah, but oh, and here's something that somebody brought up. So you notice how they go through like the sewer entrance?
Yes.
Somebody's like, well, nobody's gonna stand and gank there. That's too obvious. Like, isn't standing inside a doorway of a delve too obvious? And people do it. So am I even gonna be able to get through the frickin' sewer entrance?
Probably. If you run with groups or something like that. And the other question I had that is like, if you go in through it, if you're going to the dungeon and you go outside the front door, do you end up back into there too? Because they said you could queue up and do it, right?
Yeah, I can. Once I discover that dungeon, I can port to it like any other dungeon. But yeah, I wasn't understanding what happens if you go through the stuck in queue to get into PvP because you're not part of the population cap.
Or just you haven't even come in through the front door too.
Pardon me?
You didn't come through the front door of the dungeon too. So do you come back out through or not?
No, because one of the ways to exit Imperial City is to go through a dungeon.
Ah, okay.
So when you leave that group dungeon, you're going to end up back in your capital city.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Which, here's my other thought for things. If I'm closer to there than I am to my safe spot, and I'm worried about getting ganked, I can go inside that dungeon and just kill walk the whole way.
Yep.
And save all my Telvar stones.
Telvar stones.
I can't lose those stones in that dungeon. Aw, man, this girl boss just like reset on me.
Da-da-da-da. Okay, let's see if we can do a slightly better thing here. No, I want to get... I don't want impulse, I want... Oh, that is shocking impulse, god damn it. Alright, we're going crystal frags. That's gonna be our standard bar here. Gonna go with lightning armor and the other one, I think. Presence, good job. Sorry about that, just a quick second here while I get something set up. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, still need more.
Hey, yeah, so do detection pots work on the new Nightblade cloak?
It does not. It should not, at least, from what we've heard.
Okay, yeah, so there was just a conversation going on in my chat here, and they were asking.
Yep. Yeah, basically, the new detection, the pots will still work if you're getting yourself in stealth. So basically, you have a Nightblade that goes into stealth. They have about 3 seconds on the cloak. But a Seeker build, what you basically do is you have any type of detection pot, which goes up to 20. You have Mage's Light, which gives it an extra, like, 5. And you have, like, a base of 10. So as long as you're looking at the direction the Nightblade goes in, you should have a chance to get him up if he hasn't run away very, very quickly. You can go with a sentry set if you want to get yourself out quicker. And you can also, like, you know, do other things like put down caltrops and all this other stuff there just to, like, slow him down so he doesn't get himself away. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be, like, if a Nightblade's just sitting there, he's not going to be spamming Cloak. But if you're, you know, actively using Mage's Light, typically you're going to be able to see these guys.
I am now so want to get my Nightblade so that I can PvP with it because it sounds so much safer than with my Templar.
Yeah, well, one of the issues I have with Nightblades are like the meta for most of the stuff you do in PvP right now. Like, you have to use you have to use a Nightblade if you're going to be good at most ganking inside PvP. And it's not to say that I hate the setup of it. It's just, you know, it's so many people use it, and it's like it becomes ad nauseum. That's just kind of annoying, I guess. Da-da-da. Let's do another inner light here because I need a little bit more mana. There we go.
Let's see, what else was there about there?
In the show or in the notes? You can go over both.
Either or.
Let's talk champion or veteran ranks for a little bit here, and 16 or VR16's coming and all that good stuff.
I am so apathetic towards this topic. Here's my stance: I don't give a damn that they're adding veteran ranks, and I don't have an issue with them in the first place. Not a popular opinion.
Yeah, I know. I've already discussed people, like, it's ad nauseum at this point, just on the forums. If you want to look at my opinion, just take a look at it. But the basics of it is, whenever they're going to add in something new, I guarantee they're going to be adding in veteran ranks, because it's basically saying that they're adding a new zone of content, and they want to have you progress through that content.
And they want to make you get the new materials and craft, and that's exactly what they meant by the itemizations tied to the veteran ranks. They couldn't have introduced the Telvar system without raising level cap, because it would have been too screwed up to have VR14 sets that you buy with Telvar stones and some you don't, and yada yada.
Yep.
And they, yeah, see why they did it, totally. And they already said, and with possible future increases. So it's gonna happen. I don't care.
Yeah, that's... I care to some degree, but it's like more of the fact that it's like they simply need to get what they're really doing here is they're going to be subdividing the VR levels at some point, and they just need to get to it. And unfortunately, it's just not taking a priority compared to everything else they have to put out. And I think it's going to be December, maybe past December, by the time they actually do it.
To do what?
To get rid of to get rid of the system.
To get rid of, like, the veteran system?
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way it's happening by December.
Well, I think you'll see the start of it. Yeah.
But they still have Orsinium coming out. I really don't see them getting rid of it. Like, by the fact that they said, and with any possible future increases, the fact that Orsinium, you have to think, is a good portion done by now. It's going to be too late if they want to release this by the end of this year.
Well, the question I have is, like, what do you think they're actually talking about when they say removing?
Well, they already stated they don't just want to rename it to level 64.
Yes,
they
but
sound like they want to somehow put you all back down to 50, but allow you to retain your power that you earned, and not just through the champion system. So, to be honest, I have no idea how they're going to do it.
yeah, but more than likely, the other reason they don't want to give you just simple level 64 is because you'd know it immediately that the sorry, just playing a bunch of mobs here that just decided to come and bother me. But you know exactly when they did it if, like, something is not the same as what you expect it to be.
I don't know problem. To be honest, lots of the reasons people hate the veteran ranks is why I like them. I love that they take forever. Then I actually feel accomplished. I'm like, yes, I just leveled. It's not like, oh, I just leveled for the 5th time.
Yes. Yes, that's. Well, at the same time, when you take a look at a VR level, you don't like VR1 to VR2. What's the power that you're getting comparatively?
I don't care. I'm all about I'm VR2 now. Like, see, that's the problems of a casual player.
I don't disagree. It feels good to level up, but the thing is, like, when you used to do a zone, right, and it give you like 5 or 6 levels, and now it's taking, you know, you do it and you get maybe 1 level for that zone. It feels like.
I had to do more for it. I had to do
but
more.
You had to do more for it, but for less reward, because you're only getting one attribute point, 1 skill point, and you don't get any new gear or anything like that.
I can make my own gear. Maybe I'm now a veteran rank that has the set I wanted that drops. And see, and that's
well,
fine. I'm not doing it for that extra whatever stamina. I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. I'm doing it because I'm like, yeah, the psychological thing that, oh yeah.
But a lot of people want to do it so they can get like an extra, you know, a new item set, and they can feel more powerful. And then the next time it's like a bigger challenge, but you're more powerful, so you can take that challenge on.
Oh yes, and that's the part why I said I absolutely understand. I really, really do understand why people don't like them. I just personally don't have the same opinion. But I can absolutely see why somebody would hate them, because yeah, the power you gain is really small. Like, if I'm a VR1, I really can go to a VR2 zone. I don't feel like I am going to gain enough power between VR1 and VR2 to actually have to wait before I go to that zone.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
And I think that's kind of what you're saying, is that you wish that at least if they were going to keep the levels, you want to feel that power difference, and right now you don't.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, you know, as you go through a dungeon or something like, or as you go through a zone there, you want to feel like there's also an improvement to the power of it too. Like, if everything is VR1, then that means everything is the same challenge all the way through. Versus like when you're 1 to 50,
just wanted to explore and felt restricted by the linear pattern of the 1 to 50 experience.
Yes, yes, I understand that too. But I mean, you know, I've been doing MMOs for years now, and it just kind of feels right to have some type of progression to it, you know? I mean, even I've been playing The Witcher 2 and all that stuff, and that has, you know, that has linear progression. Like, you can't go to certain areas until you're a certain level.
And is it because it's physically gated off to you, or you're just absolutely know you cannot accomplish it with your...
Oh, no, it's because, like, the enemies I face are, like, level 21, and my character's, like, 13, and I just absolutely get myself killed. Oh, I am, sorry about that. I do pay attention to chat here, but it moves so fast for me right now.
I really don't have, I don't have the issues with the veteran system that most people do. But in the CP system, at the point I am in the game where I'm not competitive in any way, it doesn't bother me, but I see the instant issue in any type of competitive gameplay, whether it be leaderboards or PvP.
Yeah, the leaderboards are another interesting thing too. If you haven't seen the forum post on it as well, somebody tracked the time and then found out, yeah, the change they made was basically making it so deaths don't count. The only thing that matters for your trial time is the time. So if you want the points, you have to get lower time. Yeah, and that's something interesting that like I brought up in the post there. Okay, now that we know this, how do you want to make it more difficult? What's the skill point? Like, is it somebody who's like doing the same build cookie cutter and then, like, you know, animation canceling and doing like 20,000 damage, or is it somebody who's doing this in a challenging mode?
Yeah, see, and that's the problem, is when it's only based on time, it's no longer about the active combat. It's no longer about strategy. It's about, are you able to animation cancel? because people beat these bosses down, like, and I don't know about trials, but in dungeons, lots of the tactics is beat them down before they have a chance to do their mechanic. Wouldn't it be nice if you rewarded players for actually being, like, strategic and playing through the mechanics?
Yeah, like for actually, like, let's say you go through, like, what's his name there? The last one in DSA there. Like, you go through, like, 5 or 6 of his fire phases instead of just one. You get a bonus of so many points. But at the same time, you take a look at, let's take a look at the first level dungeons that we had there, right? Crypto Hearts, Crypto Hearts, Bandit Sales and all that stuff there. They had, like, requirements, like, you had to, like, let the mob stay out there and then kill the boss. So you had to have, like, good sustain to actually do it, right? Versus, like, the City of Ash one was like, okay, we're going to take away 2 of the platforms, so you have to DPS even faster. And part of it comes back not to the player, but just simply ZOS needs to make it so they have more mechanics to these things.
2 seconds, I'm just explaining somebody having a leveling issue to help them out.
Okay, sure. And how's Chat doing today? I apologize for not directly talking to you some of the stuff here. I'll probably have to edit this a little bit later too. I hate editing. I really hate editing videos.
Alright, I'm done.
No worries.
People ending up in Gratwood before they're supposed to.
Yep. And somebody that was like level 6 that couldn't figure out why Alderaan was so hard, and I was like, did you do Knarthi's Roost? What's that?
Man, I didn't know about the starter islands when I started this game. I actually remember looking, and I talked to the chick that offers you the boat ride, but it was like a level 7 quest, so I never did it to level 7.
Yep.
And then I went back, and I do it, and then all of these quests are like level 4, and I was like, what the? Like, I could have known I would have went here first. To the point I actually made a video on this, how to get to the starter islands and why you should go there.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. What's your take on veteran ranks? Do you have an idea of how they would be able to accomplish taking them away, but not taking your power away from you and making you feel
It has to be subdivision. It has to be subdivision. That's the only way they could really do it, I think.
What do you mean by subdivision?
Basically, taking a veteran rank, right, and then making it double itself. So instead of having, like, let's say they eventually get themselves up to 20 veteran ranks, they make it 40 veteran ranks, and then cost half the cost to get each veteran rank. Basically changing it over to levels is basically what I'm saying. So and like I said, the reason that you have a veteran level is, like, let's take a look at, like, we're AD, right?
Yes.
And then you take a look at Stonefalls. Stonefalls, it represents 1 to 2 veteran ranks, or 1.5 veteran ranks. So that's 1.5 level, 1.5 veteran ranks equals about what you have in Auradon, which is about a level 10 zone, or level 10, or 7 to 16 or zone. So you have about 10 levels. So you have 10 levels condensed into 1 veteran rank. What the issue that people have is the fact that they keep on having to level themselves up. It takes a long grind to do it, and they don't get very much reward that they see.
But why do you have to call it a grind? Everybody's like, I love...
Because it takes that much longer for them to actually see a change in their character. That's all. They want to see a change in their character, and they want to, like, play for, like, maybe 2 hours or something like that, and actually get something for it. Not just see a bar move.
See, and that's why the champion points doesn't give me the same feeling that gaining a veteran rank does. Because I feel like I don't have to, yeah, I can do it in 2 hours, so what is very accomplishing about that? A veteran rank I really have to work at.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that either. I mean, I don't like champion points like in the way that they're being ground right now. Like, the way that people put it, like, it's just ridiculous, the amount of you take a look at it in how do I put it there? Like, they'll spend more time getting the champion point than they will like focusing on a VR level. It's like more important that they get the champion point right now.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then you take a look at the other thing there is like, you want to get gear or something like that. It's like, well, the champion points don't tie to that. That only ties to the veteran rank. So what happens to most people? They get pissed off the fact they can't get like the same high level OP gear as somebody else. And it kind of it's like just it's like a circle or a tsunami of like poor design at this point, because you have I'm rambling at this point, but
I think if we would have just called it level 64 from the beginning, we wouldn't have this problem.
Probably, because you'd have more steps in between, so you could actually get yourself up there, and you feel like you're actually accomplishing something when you get yourself in there. But
because it wouldn't fake people into thinking that you're at max level at 50.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's another reason people don't enjoy it. They're like, hey, I'm done my story, I'm going to be level 50. Oh, wait, no, this sounded like the end of my solo game, but it's not.
No, no.
It's a grind.
No. And it actually, the other good thing with like subdivisioning it is it's not 64. It would probably be like 80.
Oh, yeah.
That way you have small little groups up in there, and you have more skill points and all that stuff. But the reason they can't just make it like level 80 or something like that is because that'd be a huge flood of attribute points, a huge flood of skill points. And let's face it, once it's in there, they have to keep it. If they take anything away, they take away veteran ranks, people are going to be pissed off.
It was already asked the very first time they mentioned this. What happens to my, what about skill points or attribute points? Well, I guess ever since they mentioned taking it away and it actually existed, because you didn't used to get them. But yeah, right away, people are like, what about my skill points? You can't take those away. And other people are like, well, I haven't got there yet. You can't tell me I'm not going to get those skill points.
Yeah, exactly. And then what happens, like, okay, the veteran rank 1 gear that I have, it's going to be as good as your veteran rank 14. Does that seem right? The stuff that you work for hard to try grinding as well? And have other people being like, well,
That's what I don't get either. That even if, like, people are like, well, maybe they'll tie gear progression to CP. I'm like, so what's it frickin' matter? You still have to get... Like, if that's all they did, okay, I have to be CP rank this. What's different than having to have worked that much XP to get a veteran rank? Like, to
exactly.
me, it's all the same.
Exactly. It is. It's still all grinding, which people don't want to do. But they feel that, well, the champion points come faster, so it won't be that bad. But then don't realize, like, other things go with that, too. Now, actually, what I think should probably happen with it at some point is this: they need to come back and say, okay, we're going to make it so champion points are only going to be given so much at this point. We just can't afford to have, like, so many champion points all at once. And the veteran ranks, well, we're going to subdivide them and make them levels again. It's the only way I could see it working at this point.
I got a couple people talking here in chat discussing the champion point system.
Mm-hmm.
More so, I think, because, I don't know, like, what to you is more important? Getting rid of the veteran ranks or dealing with the champion system?
It's combination. It has to be dealt with both at the same time, unfortunately. And it's got to be, the reason I say the two have to be handled together is because veteran ranks are tied to champion points at this point. Like, to do certain things, the champion points have to be in place, and to do other things on the veteran side, you have to have it in place too. So you got to do them both together, in my opinion. Additionally, because like if you just let's say you just got rid of the champion, let's say you just dealt with the veteran rank first, then you still have the champion points in the way. You get rid of the champion points, or you nerf the champion points. The veteran rank grind is still there, and people are pissed off they can't get their champion points. So like again, it's like okay, let's subdivide the veteran levels until new rank 8 to new level 80, and then possibly just take the champion points and say okay, only one tree is going to be active at a time.
I think the whole point of adding build diversity, it's okay with having all 3 trees active at the same time. Something a lot of people have brought up is there is no build diversity from the CP system when people hit max. Why don't you give us a set limit you're allowed to spend this? That way you actually have to think about what you're spending your points in, and you're not all going to spend them the same way, and that's actual diversity. Not allowing everyone to have everything. That's not diversity.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few ways you could do it. Another way you could do it is you could tie it to what to your armor or to your staff too. So let's say the mages only works if you have like 3 pieces of light armor equipped or something. And this one here only works if you have 4 pieces equipped to it, and this one only works if you have 5 pieces of light equipped to it. That would, you know, a lot of people would have issues with it because then they feel like they're being pigeonholed into things. But I mean, at the same time, it's easier to control that than it is to try like saying like, okay, you can put any points into anywhere. You don't have to worry about resource management. Light armor, yeah, you can dodge roll like a boss.
I can't wait for that day.
What?
The day that I have 3600 CP and then maybe I go to PvP and find some sucker with 5.
You can do it today. You just got to go to the PTS and find somebody who didn't bother to make a template character.
Right now it's a copy of your characters.
Yeah, but if you make a template, you should be able to get one with max CP.
Oh, okay. I thought they took that off. I didn't realize it was left on there.
I'm pretty sure they left it on there. They may have taken it off just to like to have people stop complaining about it, but
oh, they might have. I'm not sure.
all right, I need to take a quick break. Are you going to be around for a little bit more?
Yes, and I would love a break as well.
I gotta go see the wife here before she gets upset.
Okay, see you in a bit.
All right. Alright, folks in chat here, you've been listening to me and Miss Bizz ramble on for a little bit there. Apologies for not paying attention to you. I do gotta go see the wife, though, before she falls asleep and then hates me for letting her fall asleep without giving her a hug and a kiss. That should also get something a drink or something like that. So we're gonna hide ourselves here. I think we're doing pretty good on this right now. And I'm gonna put the AFK message up there. Meow, meow, meow. I think toss vet ranks keep all base gear stats and stagnate vary by sets. That'd be interesting, Adrock, but it still would make it so like my as soon as I hit veteran rank 1, we'll get a little bit more into this as well, but as soon as I hit veteran rank 1 on all of my characters, they can immediately use all the top level gear that I have. Right? Versus like my character Herfy Dreaderkilly has gone through the entire campaign, has fought their way up there and leveled themselves up there. Meanwhile, my other ones, I haven't got themselves up there. They haven't got themselves through this. And what's the point of them going through it at that point if I can just get the immediate gear like that, you know? Alright guys, I'll be right back here in a little bit. And back again for myself. Still up, Miss Bizz? I'll take that as a yes. I feel like the clan fair is doing a better job at this. Da. Oh. You bastard. Get a clan fear up. Thank you. Oh, there's a whole bunch of people. It in Rogue. With the Imperial City coming out, I really wanted a Nightblade now. Make sure Magic or Stamina. Both will probably be good. Magic is probably going to have an advantage with the... Magic builds are probably going to have the advantage with the... whatchamacallit there? God damn it, what do you call it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Magic are going to have better advantage with the shout now fixed, hopefully, and doing a lot more, like, damage in general. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. At the same time, I could see it also being that, like, heavy armor is going to be the new meta for this, too. Like, if you don't want to get yourself killed, you're going to have to do heavy armor just to keep yourself alive. They keep on saying risk reward on some of this, too, which kind of, like, makes me think that they want to, like... If you're going to be somebody that's going to try keeping themselves alive there... Apologize on that. DPS and PvE. Well, Sap Sorks could do pretty good damage. At least currently, not long term. Yes, well, increasing their health, lowering the damage, lowering damage shields, lowering healing. Everyone should hopefully stay alive. My concern though is that they've already figured out how to like beat most of the mechanics using min-max builds. So my guess is that the days of like the two-shotters are not gone right away. They're gonna have to change abilities. Oh, that reminds me. Did I? Nope, I did not. Let's get this up here. Oh, I can now do Conjuring Wind. Anything else here? You know, let's put Lightning Splash on here. Other side here. Let's put that there. Okay. I gotta get this up so I can actually do those abilities. I need Surge, so. You get two. I'm watching both chats here too, but I'm not sure if Miss Bizz's chat can hear me, but I can see you guys. Apologize. The K doing Lucky Cat. Yes, so perfect, right? Just not possible, the damage reduction. Yeah, I'm just concerned that, like, the min-maxers do not do PTS stuff, or at least do not let on the stuff they do in PTS, like we do on stream. We usually find out about it on stream here, so I'm going to try getting ahead of the curve and looking at, like, some of the bad stuff as well. But part of it is, like, the stuff in PTS, they don't give us a whole lot of sets to actually test out. Like, we have to find them, which is one of the reasons that you have some of these bad builds too. So, oh, by the way, I gotta thank some people that followed here. Recollection, thank you for the follow, and also Lucky Cat, thank you for the follow. Apologize for not paying more attention and giving you guys more props on that stuff. They hear me. Oh, God. And to Lambs, I hear your pain there, but at the same time, when you take a look at them, they've also like gotten rid of a lot of the naming and shaming. I'm a little bit torn on that myself, because the naming and shaming really leads to a lot of issues where you can't like make people actually like consider their actions. They're just anonymous. Like you cheat or you scam, there's no punishment for it at all. Well, you get banned for a little bit, but no one else knows about it.
I just had what I think is a brilliant idea.
What's that?
Okay, two ideas. One which is not my own. So, A, they really need to separate PvP from PvE gear in this game. The PvP players shouldn't want PvE gear, and the PvE players shouldn't want PvP gear. That way you can do what you enjoy to earn the gear that's actually useful. Secondly, how they could have... You know how we were talking about actually wanting people to do the mechanics of dungeons?
Mm-hmm.
What if something like a currency like stones were to drop from bosses, and it was at a rate of, like, if I actually do this mechanic, for every time I do this mechanic, I gain stone. But of course, it would have to scale in the way that, like, yeah, the longer it goes on, the more damage or whatever. So there is a point where you need to actually kill the person. Because that would entice people to actually do the mechanics for a greater reward. And of course, you would have to add some sort of risk in there. Like, yeah, if you wipe out, you only actually get to keep the Telvar stones you earned when you actually beat the boss. Like, you can't die and then you get to keep what you earned so far.
I think what a lot of them would probably say on that, which I think is pretty wrong though, is like, if you let the fight go on and you get more Telvar stones, well, you're punishing us for having better DPS. But at the same time, I'm kind of at this point being like, you know what? If you can beat it and you can get it like that much quicker, then yeah, you get better chance of getting like some reward here. But like, if you keep on going there for longer times, well, then you can get more stuff. It's just like doing hard mode in like a dungeon.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I just had those ideas, so I was thinking about
Yeah. Now what you're talking about with the PvP and the PvE gear being separated, that's nothing new. That's like what WoW does, right? They give different stats for their PvP gear than they do for the PvE gear. I kind of dislike that. I do like having like certain sets have like certain bonuses that are better for PvE, and then certain bonuses for better for PvP. And yes, they do currently do have that in there. But at the same time, it's like I want to see like a like something to like give people incentive to do both, you know?
But that's almost what they're doing right now, and it makes lots of people feel forced to do something they don't want to do.
Yes, I don't disagree with that.
Like, yeah, you're trying to give me incentive to go PvP, but really at this point right now, I had no plans. I do actually want to learn PvP and do it at some point, but not right now. I wanted to get good at the content that I know I enjoy first. But now, it's like you're forcing me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I want to play a game that forces me to do something I don't enjoy?
And now you're kind of coming to the crux of, like, you know, vigor and all this other stuff. I want this skill here, but I don't want to have to actually do the PvP content to get it.
So then, goddammit, I won't get vigor. That's, to me, that's something, I don't know. It's just,
Yep.
Okay, like you said, all of what I'm saying heavily depends on, is there only going to be one set in each of those two new dungeons?
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's not, let's say they're split 50-50, or at least, you know, there's a decent variety of sets that can come out of those dungeons I can do, I won't give a damn about the Telvar system.
Yeah,
because I'm not being forced to do it.
I don't disagree.
If you only get one new set in each dungeon, what's the likelihood of me actually wanting one of those two sets? Then I'm going to feel forced to do the content I don't like.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about the rewards there. Let me take a look at the original launch description here. So all content can be available to anyone 10 and up, right? Brand new PvE and PvP space and to do this. 6 new Imperial City districts. New quests and characters to do the Imperial City with. Where is it here? Okay, 23 completely new veteran rank 16 item sets available in the Imperial City. That's not 23 like from what I'm reading on that, it sounds like it's 23 completely like totally separate like item sets.
Yes, but how many is there? 4 available from the dungeons and 19 available with Telvar stones? That's what I'm getting at. Like, what we don't know yet what's available for what.
Well, we have an idea. Yeah, we have an idea of like a good like 6 of them, I think, because I was looking at Dominion's post again, and he at least has a few in there. In addition to that, we've also been told that we're going to have at least some of the crafting stations inside of the districts. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like maybe only 2 or 3, but it could also be 6. So let's say we have 6 from there, 6 from there. That's 12.
There's 2.
There's 2? Only 2?
There's 2 crafting stations.
Okay. So we have two different crafting sets, right? Plus the 6. Plus we're going to have probably some from the Telvar system, right? So my guess is that you're probably going to be looking at a good 4 Yeah, I want to say 4. Maybe 6. Because the way I look at Veteran City of Ash, right? When they released that, they had at least 3 sets for that.
Yeah.
And we have 2 dungeons coming out. So
Normal and a veteran, though.
yeah, but the normal probably won't give the sets. Or at least, like, maybe, well...
They'll be scaled, though, so they might get the exact same set.
More than likely the veteran... I'd say the veteran mode would probably have its own set, and the normal mode would have its own set. So yeah, it could be...
Now, so far, we have 6 new gear sets.
Yeah, 6 new plus the times 2, so 12? Just from the dungeon, probably?
Okay.
Because you look at it, and they'll have, like, a heavy armor set, a medium... Go ahead.
If I have 12 sets to pick from, good chance I'm gonna like some.
Well, it'll be, like, only 2 light armor sets, or, like, 2... You know, like, 2 medium armor sets, 2 heavy sets or something. I do a no skill noob. We're currently talking, so I probably won't do that right now.
So I don't know. Yeah, a lot of my opinion rests a lot on do I like this setup, doing the content I enjoy. If I do, yeah, my opinion's gonna change a lot.
I mean, I would get this just for the dungeons at least. And they're talking $20 there, but I mean, honestly, the $20 isn't that big of a deal to me because I haven't spent any crowns really since the conversion.
Well, I've spent crowns alright, but I have a sub.
Well, I've just been kind of sitting on them myself.
But what about the frost horse?
I don't want the frost horse. It's not a unicorn.
I wanted the frost horse. Well, I didn't think I wanted it until I saw it in game. But the panther I thought I wanted until I saw it in game.
See, I won't be happy until I have like a frickin', I don't know, spider or like saber-toothed tiger to like frickin' ride in there.
I think we got the closest thing we're getting to a tiger.
But I just want a saber-toothed tiger. It doesn't take that much.
Yeah, just add teeth to the cinch tiger. Can you imagine the outroar? Oh, okay, let's get back on topic.
Yes, yes.
Imperial City stuff.
Okay, let's see something. Okay, we talked about Televar system there for a little bit. 2 new PvE dungeons. The public dungeon, which is the Imperial sewers. That'll be interesting, I think. I'll at least run that. If it's like the other public dungeons, you always get a trophy and like some type of pet from it or something like that.
Dungeons in Cyrodiil where they have some stupid spawn timer thing that I can't ever seem to get all the bosses, and it's a PvP zone where I keep getting killed.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bitter about those public dungeons.
Well, want me to tell you a secret about that? It's all about it's all about which one you kill in what order.
Is there a known order?
No.
That's the problem. I realize that only so many spawn at a time, so you have to kill them. But yeah, like it wasn't such a big deal. I don't know. I guess it's not such a big deal, but I don't count that as really new PvE content because once again, well, and I think a lot of my issues are going to go away when this is no longer new.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's new, there's going to be a lot of people there. When it kind of gets old, there's going to be people there for sure, but I don't think it's going to be as jam-packed as it will when it starts.
Yeah, my concern is it's going to be a little bit like PlanetSide 2, where they came up with the expansion, and then nobody came in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you had like an entire zone that like they made and like, you know, did all this stuff there. And since they listed it as an expansion pack you had to buy, no one went in there because no one wanted to buy the expansion pack. They just wanted to fight. They didn't want to have to put a whole lot to it.
Weird. But I don't know that game, so I don't know what like.
Oh, it's like it's a shooter game type of thing.
So that's like buying a new map for Call of Duty kind of thing?
Kinda, yeah. And when you already have the map that you have for free and you get to kill people, they're already happy with it, you know? Let's see here. Treasure vaults contain new veteran rank 16 jewelry sets. A chance for everyone to find rarer finds.
Okay, I have a question. I was listening during ESO Live, but can you explain those treasure chests to me a little bit more? Like there was something about not being able to kill player. I don't freaking understand.
Yeah, basically you open a treasure chest, right? It gives you a box. And inside that box you have a bunch of tokens. If you don't open that box until you get back to your home base, they're not going to be able to take your tokens.
I thought that was for the daily quest.
No, that's for like finding stuff in like a treasure box or something.
But also for the daily quest.
Yeah, I think so too.
They can earn them from daily quest.
Yeah, so the daily quest can do it too, but you can also do sorry about that, just trying to survive here. But you can, like I said, you can also do that so you can like send it over to somebody else. Or not send over, like you can do it so you can get them and all that stuff, and then like open them back up and when you're safe and all that stuff. Now, an interesting thing as well, like they've also like stopped the planned hoarding too with this too. If you noticed, like previously, like people were talking about what do they call it there? I'm gonna mail it to my friend every time I get a stone. That way, I can never lose it or something like that.
Yeah.
And with this system here, it basically makes it so you're not getting rid of those anytime soon.
It works just like AP. Like you can't give someone your AP. It's not an item.
Yep. But AP, you don't lose when you die.
True. Sorry, I was kind of distracted for a little bit. I was looking and seeing what collectible I needed in this area.
Hey, don't worry.
I'm usually grinding mobs for, yeah.
Yeah, collectibles are annoying. I've been grinding here for like up to like level 50 here, and I've only gotten like 2 collectibles.
Well, I'm on an alt because I wanted to level this chick up, and but I want to actually get the collectibles that my main character needs. So I have like a whole spreadsheet with the collectibles I have left and what kind of mobs I can get them from.
Yeah, I think somebody did the collectibles at one point, and it was like, I think they said like to get all of them was like 600 hours, just like non-stop.
Let's not talk about that.
Come on, you can quit your job, can't you?
Yeah, right. And become homeless and not have internet.
I feel the pain. I feel the pain.
Can we talk crafting? I love crafting. Can we talk crafting in this new system?
Yeah, there's at least gonna be 2 new ones, right? And since it's gonna be open to level 10, you're probably not gonna have to level up your alts to like veteran ranks to be able to get to some of these things. Though to be like survivable, you're probably gonna have to put something in there.
But my thing is, now I can't see. Here's the PV Care Bear in me again. I can't get crafting mat. Oh, hold on. Can I get crafting mats without PvP? I still haven't heard if, because yeah, you can't get Telvar stones from these mobs and dungeons. Can I get loot that I can deconstruct for this new crafting material from dungeons?
I don't see why not. It'd probably be a rare drop, but it probably would be able to. Or maybe you could be able to find like crafting nodes out in the areas there, and you know they're gonna be head contested, but you're gonna be able to grab that too.
No, they said there is no harvesting node. The way you get this They said the way you get this new material is you buy it with Telvar stones, and as you've seen on ESO Live today, it was 100 Telvar stones for a piece or whatever. But, or you can deconstruct the loot that the mobs drop. Because in theory, it's the new VR16 loot, so I would think anything that's VR16, I should be able to deconstruct and have a chance of getting some of the material back.
Yes.
Because that's how they said is your other way of getting it. So that's good for dungeons, right? I can farm the hell out of dungeons and deconstruct a lot of loot in order to get crafting materials.
Yeah, it's weird to say the least because, well, let's say you get a piece of gear from there. Can you break that gear down and get the stuff back? That's the question I'd have.
Yes, they already said yes, but they didn't say, they said from these mobs, but this is just like the Telvar stones. They said you can get it from mobs, but then they come and say, but it's only in the PvP areas.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Because
they did state that you can get it from deconstruction.
Yeah. The concern I'd have is, like, let's say you're a PvPer or you get the expansion and I don't, but I want to get that cool piece of looking gear or something like that. I would, as a marketing person at ZOS, I would probably say something like, okay, we need to make it so you can only get the stuff here. So they probably lock down the crafting materials to be only, like, from stuff that could drop from there in like, non-tradable in some fashion.
Well, that's why I'm confused. No, all the crafting materials you can trade and sell.
That's weird.
You can buy crafting materials with Telvar stones and then sell it to people who do not have the DLC in order for them to get a level 60 crafting material. But then this brings up the thing again. They're trying to hide this crafting material in the downloadable content. So they're leveling all of the dungeons and pledges up to VR16. So when my mobs drop VR16 loot, when I'm doing Wayrest Sewers, what's going to happen when I deconstruct that stuff? Am I just screwed? Or do I get a chance of getting some of this new material that I shouldn't technically have access to because it's part of the DLC?
Well, it's a good question, because, like, how are you supposed to get VR16 gear if you don't get the DLC?
You buy the crafting materials from other players, or you buy the DLC.
From other players that have bought the DLC.
Non-pickup sets are the dungeon sets. All the Telvar stone sets are going to be bind on equip.
That's just... I've got to think they've got to have another way. Like, Dungeons is going to be one way they're going to do it, because Dungeons are going to scale up to V16, right?
But they're trying to force you into buying the content, is my feeling.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Like, the only place that you can get the crafting materials, V16, that you can make in this is if you have the content. That's and you have to buy it from somebody else.
Make you buy it.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see when the PTS comes out if you can make a piece of V16 gear with you know, void steel or something like that. But I don't even think you can. I think you have to use the other stuff there.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, I'm saying, what I'm saying is, like, can you still make it with void steel, or can you not? You'll have to see it when it comes in PTS.
No. VR 15 and 16 gear has new crafting materials. You do not use void steel.
God damn it, god damn it, god damn it.
Word for word out of one of the responses.
Yeah,
But they're still trying to act like it's still available to people without the DLC because it can be traded and sold.
Yeah, it is a little bit, well, it's not really pay to win. Well, it's pay to get in first. Get the stuff first if you have the DLC. Really, they should have ways to get it outside of there though. I mean, not the motif material, but the crafting material to make V16 gear. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'd say the only way that you could do it then is going to be running dungeons, which means anyone who does not have the DLC, prepare to run a lot of dungeons.
If they allow it. Everything else points to them trying to force it to only come from the DLC.
Yeah. But hopefully the gear's not going to be such a big improvement from V. Well, I take a look at my gear on my character right now. I have stuff that's still V12, and I'm a V14, and some of that V12 stuff is still good.
Like you said, there's not much of a power gap. Should people really be that worried that they can't get it?
I'd say not really. I mean, the only thing that's going to be really big is going to be the item sets, and like somebody's going to take an item set out of the Imperial City there, and then bring that into the stuff, or bring that into like the regular PvP and just own, but only if they find that stuff, you know. Let's go try focus here. Like you know, I get the best gear that I kind of make this monster setup from the Imperial City DLC, and I come back into PvP and I just like wreck and own all Cyrodiil for it.
And I just realized something though.
What's that?
On the ISO live today, when he went to the merchant, they had runes, meaning I have absolutely no way to make myself any glyphs unless I have Telvar stones. Or buy them off of another player who bought them.
Oh yeah, because they're having entirely new stuff on that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, we do know they're trying to pigeonhole it into the DLC, but we have some unanswered questions. And an attorney at law was saying, what about the stuff that comes in rewards of the worthy mails? Will that decon down into this new material?
Well, they did say that brings up another point that they did talk about there. Let's take a look at because we basically went through the list of the Imperial DLC gaming content, right? So the Imperial City game, one of the ones was improved end of campaign alliance rewards. That's one of the things they said.
And they reviewed some stats on some.
Yep. So my guess is that you might actually get Imperial City rewards on the end of city for being like the top in Cyrodiil.
I don't know, because some of that they said these new item sets are only available in Imperial City.
Well, the item sets, yes, but they may give them like, you know, different crafting materials for getting the end of it too.
I don't think they'd give you a direct crafting material, but maybe give you VR16 loot that can be deconned for the crafting material.
Maybe. Or maybe new weapons. Oh, that brings up another point there. What are they going to do at trials?
They're leaving them.
So even
on some new trials, but they're not scaling them. They mentioned they're only scaling the pledges, the dungeons up to Vet 16.
Okay, so like, you know, DSA for example is not going to be scaled up then.
Exactly. Well, they never specifically stated DSA, but I did specifically state pledges and dungeons will be scaled to VR16. The trials will not. They falls more under trials than pledges.
Yep. Versus skirmisher. Whatever.
So, I'm wondering what the new crafting passives could be. Like, because when they say new, I assume a new crafting passive, not just meaning I have to put another point in to be able to make level 16 gear.
Yeah. Well, they have to make that at least, right?
Well, and that's to be expected, so I wouldn't exactly put it as something I'm advertising.
Well, is that also going to include things like new food and drink recipes?
I doubt it, man. Like, alchemy is still, what, bet 5 at max?
Well, I could see them putting in new alchemy stuff. But actually, you know what, alchemy, I'll probably say they'll probably hold off until the city or the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have no idea what a new crafting passive would be. It intrigues me.
My guess is the few things I can think of that it could be might be something like let's say they give you like a chance to get your materials back or rebate just for crafting something. Let's see what else there.
Can we mention something that wasn't brought up in this most recent article or ESO Live? And I promise
Sure.
it'll be about a 15-second conversation.
Sure, sure.
Are you not excited?
What's that? I missed it.
Oh, I'm going to be able to hide my horse armor. You're going to be able to hide
Oh, yes.
stuff on your horse.
I still want to have better stuff on my horse, though. Like, not just like the backspace or something like that. I want to be able to like the frickin' Oblivion like horseback.
It's a step in the right direction.
But like, I want to like choose if my tiger is going to be in like full battle armor or if he's going to be like in like leather or something else like that.
That'd be cool, but for now I'm happy hiding my armor.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can talk about something more productive.
You gotta go? Okay, Narek. More productive. Okay, veteran ranks, which we already kind of covered. 100% more experience for public dungeons. That will be interesting as well. I would be very happy to see that, like, public dungeons actually be a place that grinders can go.
Does that include the new one inside Imperial City, I wonder?
Well, it's probably gonna be the same one there. But the problem is, like, right now, like, you fight 5 mobs in a public dungeon, they cost like the same amount as like doing 2 normal enemies, and they hit harder. It's just like retarded. Like, there's no point to do a public dungeon for any type of like grinding or like questing or exploring because they downscale it like terribly.
Yeah, I actually do on my veteran character. I've been doing the public dungeons alone.
Yeah, and most of them you can do by yourself, but how many people do you actually see in there most times?
Well, in my vet zones, it's pretty rare to see other people.
Yeah. Yeah, you might, especially when you head up to Cadwells or something like that, because everyone started to grind at this point, unless they're a new player. Which I feel sad about, but it is what it is. Uh, 50% more experience on all veteran rank quests, which means, again, people, if you're currently leveling up a veteran rank character, stop. Just wait.
Like if you have a vet 14 who still has a zone and a half of gold and all of Craiglorn left?
Yeah, just hold on the quest, don't do anything more.
Boom. Haha. 16 now.
Mm-hmm.
The girl who it took over a year to get to vet 14. Buggers.
Yep, and start working your other alts up onto veteran ranks too. Probably the best way you can spend your time.
So what do you think about them increasing all of the experience for veteran ranks? Like,
Good.
do you think it's a step in the right direction to at least
Yes.
make the veteran ranks not last as long?
Yeah, because right now people were feeling like they took forever to get through it. They just want to run Cadwell Silver or Gold and then get through it. So they want to get a veteran rank for running that. The side quests are good extra stuff to get the champion points done.
So my question is what if they didn't get rid of vet, but instead they just lowered to an extreme amount how much XP you needed?
Then add more veteran ranks and you have levels again, and then you can just simply relabel it as levels.
But I like it being called veteran. Makes me feel like, aha.
Yeah, but then you could be like level 80 and be like, hey, my level is 80 long.
But I'm veteran now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a step in the right direction. But I don't think people saw that because they added the new vet ranks. I think a lot of, like, I don't know. They needed to cut it down more for people to be okay with. Well, though I don't think anybody would have been okay with it anyways. But I think everybody would have praised changing the XP had there been no extra vet levels.
Maybe sorta, because even with the experience increasing, you're also getting it. You're also getting the benefit of it now working with champion points too. So people that are doing the champion points for grinding and all that stuff now have a better reason to do the quests. See what I'm saying there? Like, instead of like having to grind all these things, there now your best experience is if you do Cadwells.
That's awesome news.
Well, I'm hoping it's gonna be better, but the people on the forums there seem to think that like grinding is the only way you should be able to do an MMO.
I know, and I don't get it. And I also remember when people were talking about the championship system, and they're like, well, I already did Cadwells, I'm going to be SOL. And then in the end, everybody's like, grinding is way better than doing Cadwells anyways.
Yep. Grinding is like something that's always been part of like MMOs in general.
What has?
Grinding. It's just been part of it. Like back in the day, in like, you know, what do you call it? Freaking EverQuest. Like everything that you did was for grinding. That's all it was. Like quests were
Definition of grinding.
killing a bunch of mobs over and over again to get experience, so you can get to the next level and you can move to the next set of mobs.
See, and that's why I'm confused, because people like to use the word grinding for pretty much explaining having to do something they don't want to do.
It's
like, I'm gonna go grind some quests. I'm like, why don't you enjoy them? It's not grinding.
well, grinding is any repetitive thing that you may not want to do. I don't personally grind quests, quote unquote. I like doing quests. Me grinding levels here and killing all these mobs, I do call it grinding because I fall asleep and I don't like doing it most times.
Kind of like how it's grinding for collectibles right now. This is, by the way, like I said, I don't grind. This is absolutely horrendous. And I don't understand why people do this.
Because you can get a pretty collection when you're done.
No, but I don't understand why people are like, see people who say, I enjoy grinding. What is fun about this?
Well, because they have a more perspective of it.
Mob over and over again.
Da, da, da. How you doing, Darth? Ah. Now, one other thing here we can go over. Racial passives are going to be increasing as well, which will make me a happy Khajiit. Maybe I'll actually be able to do damage on a Magicka build.
Woo!
But that also goes back to the whole min-maxing thing. I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm hoping it's going to be enough that it's actually going to be like worthwhile to play a different class. Or a different race.
Can you explain something to me?
Sure.
I saw a lot on the forums where people are saying that, like, yeah, the Khajiit and the Nord changes are all really good, but they're